Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Revu 21 in Bluebeam Cloud webinar. My name is Juliana, and I work in marketing here at MicroCAD. And today's presenter is Julian Nino, our applications engineer. Today's webinar, we will show you a complete overview of the capabilities and discuss what has changed in this powerful tool. Throughout the webinar, you can ask a question at any given point on the left-hand corner. You can ask Julian to revisit a step or ask any questions. This is your time, and we want you to make the most of it. And in the upper left-hand corner, you will find links to our social media and website. Also, make sure to check our YouTube channel. We post all of our webinars there at the end, so you can share with colleagues or watch it on your own time. And without further ado, we'll pass it on to Julian. Hi, Juli.
Hi, Juliana. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, as always. And good afternoon, everyone. Right now, I'm just going to start sharing my screen. And as Juliana just mentioned, we would like to bring you today Review 21 in Bluebeam Cloud. So if you're familiar with Bluebeam, you're going to notice that in the last couple of months, there's a new release. And with this new release, we have a couple of additional tools that we are going to see and we are going to take advantage. And we want to mention you as well the major changes that it comes with this version. So basically, Bluebeam Revu, as we are all familiar with it, is going to have the same capabilities of the previous versions. So this software is intended for us to continue creating, right? PDF, doing some markups as well. We are going to be able to organize all the data right there for our projects. And the greatest tool that we have available is to collaborate, right? So when it comes to Revu, it's going to be the same type of software that we are accustomed to use, right? But there's going to be a small change. We are going to have the desktop version, and as well, we are going to have a new tool that is going to be on the cloud. The major change that we are going to notice between versions is that this new release is going to be subscription based, meaning that to access the software, we are not longer going to need that product key and the serial number. Now we are going to be able to access using our email, right? And people from our company, if we have a pretty large set of users, they are going to be able to assign the seats, remove the seats, right? But we are only going to need those credentials, our email, right? And a password. Now, we are going to have the same type of tools that we managed in the past, right? So Revu is going to allow us to keep track of our files, customize permissions. The design review process is going to be as fast as it's always been. We still are going to have the integration with SharePoint, organizing our files, building our bits, managing our projects on the cloud is going to be the same way with studio sessions and studio projects. And if you're familiar with a studio, it's still going to be that great tool that is going to allow us to collaborate with multiple users at the same time, right? And it's going to allow us to, well, just share the data, right? And as well to have our document store and save in that is a pretty secure location. Now, I'm just going to mention a couple of things that they are going to change. So you're still going to think, why PDF? Well, PDF is going to be this AEC, architecture, engineering, construction standard type of format, right? So we are going to have people in the office, people at home, people outside, always sharing data, always using design software, right? And the way that is going to be easy to communicate is going to be PDF, right? So we can have all of our drawings ready for design, for a meeting, just to store our files, right? So Review is going to be this great tool that is going to allow us to share all our project data. And now with this new release, we just need to change a little bit our chip, because what it used to be Review Standard now is named Review Basics, right? What it used to be Review CAD now is going to be related to Review Core. And for those users that used to have Review Extreme, which is like the biggest version that we used to have and manage, now is going to be Review Complete. And having that in mind, the features that we are going to have are going to be the following. So for that basic version of the software, Review Basics mainly is going to allow us to continue with that PDF creation. We are going to use the digital signatures using area measurements and lengths, right? But they are going to be pretty basic, right? And we are going to have a limited collaboration using Studio. There are a couple of tools that we are not going to be able to use, such as advanced and specialty markups, right? The measurement and advanced takeoff tools, we are not going to be able to use them, and as well the real-time collaboration within Studio. So those are just a couple of things that we are not going to be able to do with the basics, right? But for most of us that work on the architecture and engineering industry, right? And as well for those contractors and construction teams, they are going to be heavy on the core and complete version, right? Because right here is where we see the integration with softwares from Autodesk, such as AutoCAD, Revit, Navisworks. For those architects as well that heavily rely on SketchUp, they are going to have those same integrations, right? So we are going to be able to continue with specialty markups for 2D and 3D PDF. We are going to have our standard measurements and takeoffs options, right? We are going to be able to create report and custom status for our PDF, so it's going to be easy to track during the design and construction process. And why not going a little bit further when it comes to the complete solution, right? So right here, we are going to have everything that we have on core, but we are going to have in advance the batch tools that are going to allow us for our process to be a little bit better when it comes to pasting stamps, making signatures, right? So you get the idea. If you used to have extreme, complete is going to be the same solution that we have, right? Now, when it comes to these new names, we are going to have the same type of features that we used to have on the past. Now, the new addition to the review software is going to be the Bluebeam Cloud. So if we are familiar with the same tools from Studio Sessions and Studio Projects, you were familiar that with Sessions, we have this virtual room where we can collaborate with multiple users in real time. And all the markup activity that we create, we will have a chat, we can collaborate on real time, right? On the project side of things, this is like the powerful tool for document management on the cloud, so we can save all our project files and as well share this information for with other people that also use Bluebeam inside of our project. Now, the new tool is going to be this new suite that you're going to have available on a web browser on your mobile device, right? That is going to connect your documents and the tool sets from Review. So with Bluebeam Cloud, we are going to be having access to our files from our cell phone, from our iPad, and as well having access from any web browser. So right here, this is a little bit more intended for those type of files and tasks that we need to take to the side, right? Or maybe one day I need to move to a meeting, I need to have access to my files. I can bring it right there to the cloud, having access to those and do some markups, take some measurements, right? And make some annotations and send it back to the office, right? So this tool is going to be really cool. I think we have a question right there. Let me go ahead and read it really fast. So it seems that the cloud-based document management is an application of Autodesk AC Construction Cloud. Please talk about how the Revu Bluebeam Platform Cloud is different from and or needed in addition to ACC. Oh, that is a great question. So in a few, I'm going to go ahead and show you the platform and how it's going to be different from the AC Construction Cloud, right? because I think we are more accustomed to using Autodesk Docs or Beam 360 when it comes to taking issues, documenting it online. Right here, Bluebeam is going to be a little bit similar, and I'm going to show you how we can take advantage of that one. So let's continue, and I'll show you those reference in a minute. Okay, so first of all, what is new on Review 21? So the software, as we are familiar, that is going to be the same software that we use a lot and love, is going to be the same, right? The same layout, right? It's not going to change. We are still going to have access to the same tools. We are going to be able to customize it the way that we want it. What is great about this now is that we do not longer need to go to insert the key number, the product number, right? And gets to that point where we forget our credentials. We need to go back and forward with our admin to assign a new seat. If we need to move to another computer, we need to release the seat. That is not longer going to happen. Now you can notice right here on the top right, this is going to be subscription based. So you just need your email to access it and a credential. Same way is going to apply for Studio. So right here on Studio, we are going to have access to our projects, access to our sessions, right? On the sessions is going to have an additional feature, really cool right here. We are now are going to be able to see a little bit more faster the notifications from other users who are using the sessions, right? So mainly the software is going to stay the same. A minor set of improvements have been added and included, but I will say that the tool chest that we have right here on the software, we can as well take it to the cloud. And the updated plugins is going to be something really useful that we are going to have, because if you always are on the top of all the softwares, probably at this point you're working with AutoCAD 2023, Revit 2023, right? Navis 2023. So right here, the plugins have been updated as well. So when it comes to the preferences, you're going to be able to have access to any 2023 related plugins for those AEC softwares that we are familiar and accustomed to use, right? So just have that in mind. These are going to be available as well. Now, for the question that was just asked, what is cloud, right? So what this is compared to the tools that we have or on AEC. So we are going to have a markup editor, which is similar to the one from Docs and Beam 360. We are going to have a fill tools that these are going to be really good for RFIs, for issues, right? But what is going to be great is the built-in option that we have for iOS and web access. And this is going to be a little bit different from the one that we have on AEC. Sometimes on AC and on ACC and Docs, the connection is going to be a little bit hard to get and to achieve, especially because we also dealing with Revit models, AutoCAD drawings, right? On this one, in this case, as is full PDF, the speed is going to be a little bit better, right? The workspace is going to be familiar to the one that we have on Bluebeam, and as well the punch reporting improvements is great. So we are going to be able to generate reports of all the markups that we have on our Bluebeam file. So let me go ahead and show you what Bluebeam Cloud is. And if you were familiar or you heard about Project Rover. So right now, these two are as well being integrated. So right here, you have the option to have your own workspace, meaning that you can have your own files, right? You can as well have the access to projects. And these projects, you can potentially integrate it with your Bluebeam desktop software and have access to them, right? But let me go ahead and just show you the tool and the similarities that we have with the docs or the Beam Collaborate, right? So right now it's just loading my drawing. You can see right away on the top left, really quick access to my tool chest. So I can bring the tool chest that I have from my Bluebeam. So I can hit right here, create or upload a tool set. So what I could do is potentially go back to my Bluebeam, right? So right here, if I have my set of tools, what I can do for this guy is let's go ahead and export it, right? So to give you an example right here, I'm going to paste this on my desktop. So these are going to be my tools, and I'm going to just say December, hit OK. So right there on my tools, you're going to see a couple of tools that I have created, and they are available. Right now, they are not bringing the tools that I create with images. So just be mindful of that. The tools that I create with images are not going to be available, but all the other tools I'm going to be able to bring right there to the cloud. So I'm going to hit upload, right? I'm going to bring my tools from December, hit open, and right there is just going to go ahead and start loading all my tool chest, right, with the important tools that I need for my project, that they are going to be right there at hand if I need to have them on site, right? And as well, I'm going to have some out of the box tools that I can use. Sometimes it's just a little bit low depending, it's going to be a little bit slow depending on the amount of tools that I have. But right here, you can see the basic tools that I have. Now, these ones that I mentioned, the
I'm
ones
sorry.
with images,
We have a
yes, go ahead.
question. Sorry, we have a question here from David. I don't know if you already see it. Okay, so
From
it says,
Greg
in
or
previous
David?
in previous versions, we had issues with Bluebeam crashing on iPads in the field before users could get to a Wi-Fi spot to sync. How is the stability with Wi-Fi only iOS
Oh, okay.
devices?
So, if you remember, David, so before we also have the app, right? The Bluebeam app for the field. So what is different about this one right here is that we are going to have access directly from the web browser, right? So the compatibility is going to be from a web browser. And as well, it has a built-in integration that is going to be able to work on offline mode. So you're not going to rely on having or need to have access to the Wi-Fi right away to sync, right? So you can continue working on your markups, you can continue on your nodes, right? And when you're ready to sync, you can just click the sync option, and it's going to go back to your whole project. So right now is, I will say, is a little bit more stable when we used to have with the actual app. And what is great about this new release is you can see like the common compatibility that we have is that they have improved on the app as well. So the app is also going to include that option to work on offline mode. So to give you an example, right here for sessions, is going to be available on our computer for Windows iOS. It's going to be available on our iPad for projects as well on Windows iOS on iPad. But if you take it from sessions or from projects and you take it to the cloud, the fastest way is going to be using the web browser, and the iOS app has been improved. So they reduce a lot of risk when it comes to having that issues with the Wi-Fi connectivity. So right now is a little bit more stable than it used to. Thanks, Juli, for remind me of that question from David. All right.
No.
So going back right here to the tools, you can see that the only minor thing that we have right now is for those tools that you have that are really customized with images. Right now, they are not supported yet, but any other tool that you create with a special reference for your markup list, right? A special definitions for subjects and users, we are going to be able to bring them, and they are going to be really easy to use and really fast to place, right? So the markups right here, if we are familiar using the markups from Bluebeam, using the markups right here on the cloud, they are going to be a little bit more easy to use, right? And sometimes the markups that we have on the AEC or ACC side of products such as Docs and Beam 360, uh, they can be tricky. because if you remember using docs or if you're using Beam 360, each markup, you need to make sure to select and edit and then publish it, right? Sometimes we can spend the whole day marking up our document, right? But let's say I forgot to publish it, then I need to go back for each one of those markups and publish it for all my other users to see. So I will say this is a great advantage that we do not need to struggle with that. And what is great about this is that I can save my progress right here and then send it back to my Bluebeam software on the desktop. So that is going to be great. Right now, we only have option for markups. So right here on the left side, you can see all kind of like the basic markups that we have. If we have the app from the iPad, you're going to be able to right away take a picture with your iPad and grab it from your list of pictures and attach it to your drawing. As it is right now, they have not implemented yet the option for measurement. That is something that they are currently working with. But the measurement is going to be the same way as we have it on the desktop software, which if you're accustomed to use, is going to be really cool. Sometimes with the docs or Beam 360, it's a little bit tricky to get that measurement right, but right here, if you're familiar with Bluebeam, is going to be really fast and easy. Now, on the right side right here, we're going to be able to see some of the markups that we have available. And you can see all the details of the users, of the date that they were created, right? So if I have a multiple set of drawings right here, I'm going to be able to track all those markups as well. When it comes to downloading the file, it's going to be pretty simple, pretty easy. Right here on the left side, we are going to see the same navigation option that we have similar to our Bluebeam, right? But right now is having quick access to our files on the cloud, right? And if our iPad doesn't have access momentarily to Wi-Fi, we can use it on offline mode, or we can access it from our phone using just a web browser, right? So this is going to be really easy to use, easy to access. Now, when it comes to the access, right here, you just need as well your credentials to access your files, right? And when it comes to the projects, right here, you can load up any amount of files to your projects, right? You just need to make them visible for your team or for you, right? And right here, you're going to see different options that we have when it comes to drawings, right? To documents. If you're creating punch lists, if you're creating an RFI or a submittal, this is going to be available. And on the settings side of things, right? You can export your project data really fast. And on the integrations, this is what is going to be really cool. You can integrate it to all this set of tools. So if this is something that you have on your company, right, such as SharePoint Online, OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive, or Ignite, you're going to be able to sign in with your credentials for those, right? And your files are going to be stored as well, which is pretty cool with the integration that we have for our files. Right here, you're going to have a pretty cool dashboard, similar to the one on Docs, but this is going to be a little bit more related to the drawings that you upload with the latest changes, with any additional locations that you add. These locations as well are going to be related to the specific coordinates that you define for a project. So you can add those if you're on a pretty big site and you need to add something specific, right? And you can work yourself, or you can create a whole team that is going to be able to work on this. So this cloud tool is a huge improvement. Now, guys, you know that most of the tasks and projects that we have, we end up working with some people across the country on different time zones, and we work online, right? So having access to your files just with a web browser is really cool. Now, let me go back just a second right here to our screen, and just going to go back to the most common use set of tools that we are going to have on the AC industry, right? So signing and seal is still one of the great tools that we have. This saves us a lot of time, right? Using those stamps to accept, reject some comments. This is really life-saving, right? So it's going to save a lot of time of our process. The documents reviews are going to be just the same way as we uh, are used to manage them, right? The compare and overlay tools are just great because we are going to be able to track any changes between different versions of our projects. So you can use the compare tool and overlay tool on the software, which is really cool. And the last thing that I want to show you today is a third-party software, which is named Finish Line. So Finish Line is this tool, and it's a plugin that is going to allow us to connect our Revit and our Bluebeam. So right here, let me go ahead and just show you my Revit. So right here, you can see I have a pretty basic drawing, right? So I have a level 1 drawing with mechanical layout ductwork, right? So something else that I'm going to have in on my day-to-day work is going to be an element such as my PDF with my red lines. So right here, I'm just going to open up my drawing, right, with the red lines from my company. So let's say that on my drawing, let me close this. Let me close this for a minute right here. And let me open up my red lines. So let's say that someone from my company just told me, hey, Julian, you need to make some changes, right? So I'm going to give you a couple of red lines and annotations that need to happen on your project. So you're going to notice right here, it's pretty much the same drawing that I have on my Revit, right? So let's say that my colleague told me, hey, you missed all this title block part. So you need to update it, right? And then it's going to tell me, hey, you need to coordinate right here. This is kind of like too close to each other. Did you have in mind the space for the isolation, right? Or the insulation, sorry. So there we go. He's just telling me a bunch of stuff that I need to edit and modify. Then he's going to say, hey, what's happening right here with these dog words? Why didn't you connect them, right? Or he's going to tell me, okay, maybe remove this. So all that information is going to happen on PDF, right? Or it's going to happen on Bluebeam. So he's going to save those changes and he's going to email me back this drawing. So I'm going to go back to my Revit, and usually what is going to happen is that maybe on one screen I'm going to have open my Bluebeam, on the other screen I'm going to have open my Revit, and I'm going to start tackling those red lines. So what I can do is right here with the Finish Line plugin, I can go to my navigator, and right here basically what I'm going to do is just create a quick session for this one. So I'm going to save it as red lines from team, right? I'm going to save it on my desktop. You can save it anywhere where you want. It could be inside your Revit folder with your other files. And from right there, I'm just going to import that PDF from my colleague with all the red lines. So by importing that file, what is going to happen right here on my Revit, I'm going to be able to see all those issues right here on my navigation. Right now, I just have my project browser behind the navigator, but you can see, okay, I have a couple of issues. So what I can start doing is take a look right here. So, wow, do you notice that? Right here on my Revit, it just highlight that issue. So I can come right here and say, okay, this is pretty cool because now I only going to have my Revit open. I'm going to be able to make those changes right here to my project browser. So my project number is going to change. I'm going to update it, right? The issue date is going to be today, right? So I can make all those changes really fast. It's going to be really easy. So the author is going to be me, right? And maybe Juliana is going to check it. So there we go. So I'm done with that comment. Right here, I can double click on that issue, to get a little bit more of detail of this. And similar to what we have with the issues on docs or Beam 360, I'm going to start closing this. So I complete that stuff. I do not longer need to see this comment. I can go to the next one right there. I'm going to say to the person that review my drawing, I'm going to say, hey, I disagree. I think that is okay. So I'm going to reject that. Next one. Then I'm going to, okay, yeah, it makes sense. So I'm going to come right here and take a look. Okay, if I add the insulation, it's going to fit. Oh no. So yes, I need to work on this one. So this tool is going to be pretty cool to go back and forward with all those red lines that you have and continue working on your Revit, right? Instead of going back and forward with your Bluebeam or any other PDF reader, and you get the idea. So I right now I only have one screen. So imagine my day to day zooming all the way right here and then having no space right here on my Revit to work on these comments, right? Or minimizing, then going back to full size, go back and forward with that. That is going to take a lot of time. So right here, this tool is going to save us a lot of time. So that is a third-party tool that is really useful. Remember finish line, and it's really, really fast, really simple to use. You can see right there to having access, you just need to load up the PDF with the red lines, and you can start working it right away. So just to do a recap, guys, we are going to continue with the creation, the markup, the organization, and why not the collaboration. Is graded as always has been. So Bluebeam continue being the first and most important software on the AEC industry related to our document management and PDF creation. So from the version 20 to the version 21, the main change was the subscription, and now they have the Bluebeam Cloud option. So that is going to be everything on my part. So if you have any additional questions, let's go ahead and hear them.
Thank you, Juli, for that wonderful presentation. And yeah, as you mentioned, you can ask a question on the left-hand corner. We have one question here, and it says, can I transition to subscription and keep using an older version of Revu?
Okay. And the answer is yes. So you can transition to your new subscription. So it's going to be Review 21. What is recommended is on your when you're doing the installation, it's going to prompt you a message that is going to say, keep the older versions. So you can continue with your review 20, your review 19, 18. What is going to happen is that they announce that for 19 and previous versions, they are not going to continue well with the updates, right? They are going to do some basic support. The 20 version is still is going to have minor updates or heavy updates if something really bad happen and crashes, right? Stuff like that is going to be able to update. Um, but after 21, 21 is going to be the version that they are going to continue to update and send you some new tools, right? So yes, you can continue using your older versions, but just have in your mind that some of them are no longer going to be fully supported, and maybe just the 20 version in a couple of years they are going to stop with the full support of it. They are going to focus on 21.
Thank you. And second question is, can I buy Revit 21 or Bluebeam Cloud solutions separately?
So the way that it works currently is that any solution that you acquire, either if it's basics, core, or complete, they are going to include cloud. So that is going to be the way that it works, right? So having any of those three versions, you're going to have access to cloud. So as it is right now, they offered you cloud in addition to any of the solutions that you pick.
Got it. Thank you. And the third question we have is, will I need to log into Revu 21 and Studio separately?
No. Let me give you an example. Once you log in to Review, the first thing that is going to tell you, hey, log in. So once you log in, your software is going to be automatically signing with your credentials, right? For the studio, is going to be something different. So right here on Studio, as long as you have the connected icon, right? So right here to the top right, and as long you didn't log out, it's going to be automatically signing, right? Right now you can work on offline mode, right? And that way, yes, you can continue working with your software, right? But if you need to sync any progress from your files, you can reconnect it once again. And right here, you can refresh the activity. As well, you can go to your projects and sync the activity. So it's not going to ask you to do separate login to the software or the studio sessions.
Okay, and we have another question from Greg. It says, many projects we work on use Procore, chosen by general contractor. Does Bluebeam integrate with Procore?
Okay, so the way that it is right now, we have kind of like full integrations with the ones that I showed you, right? Such as, let me go back right here. They are going to be these ones, like SharePoint Online, these ones, right? So with Procore, what it happens is the following. So if you save your files on that Procore location, you're going to be able to save changes and you're going to see them back to Procore, right? So the main thing is just be mindful of the location of your files. It's not fully integrated with Procore, as they do something similar to what we have on document management, such as right here, having Studio to save files, having sessions to share files, right? And it's going to be something similar and related to what we have with ACC, right? So if you have ACC docs or if you have BIM 360, they cannot do like the same thing that Procore does. So right now the integration is going to be just based on file and folder location. So as long as you save your files on that specific location, they are going to be stored in anywhere where you want to. And the save files are going to save all the information that you create when it comes to markups and images. All that is going to maintain the same. Just be mindful when it comes to the location of your folders and files.
Thank you, Juli. And I think we don't have any more questions. So if you want to learn any of these topics in detail, you can always take a custom training with Julian. We also offer group classes online. So yeah, be sure to be checking the MicroCAD website for future webinars. We have on December 21st, finding efficiencies in built-in design for teams with BIM Collaborate. So you can find that on our event sections on our website. And I think that concludes our webinar today. So thank you everyone for attending, and thank you, Holly. That was amazing.
Thank you guys. Have a great afternoon and have a great holidays as well.
Thank you everyone. Bye bye.